Hi there, welcome to the part 9 of the series where we create Fiverr inside WordPress by purely relying on Elementor and JetEngine. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that I have created a couple of more gigs like the WordPress development, graphic design, and we do have web design. Now these gigs are kind of, let's say if I click on view, I can see all of the information right away, and it's all good. See, in a previous video, we created this sort of look, the single gig view. But right now, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create this sort of grid where we can easily see gigs in a complete directory view. And we can also work with some sort of filters based on categories or any other sort of taxonomies. But this is the goal, to create these sort of gigs. These sort of grids. And along with that, once we create these grids, we can also implement related gigs as well into the single gig page. So that's how things are going to work now. So let's go ahead and create our first grid, and that's going to be just for the main gigs page. We are also going to have our own category. So if anyone clicks on a specific category, archive, or let's say they click on a web development category, so they can see those specific respective gigs in the same grid. Right now there is no such thing. I'm going to show you how it works. So if I go here to the dashboard, let me close this page, we don't need this right now, and I click on the gig category and I click on view. So let's say if I okay, these web has two posts, so I click on view. It's a very typical look. See, we need to change this into a completely amazing grid view. So what we are going to do is, first we are going to create a loop grid, and then we are going to create the archive pages as well. So let's get started. Now here there are two options to go with that. We can create a listing template as well from JetEngine, and we can also go and work with Elementor Theme Builder. So right now I think the Elementor's approach is really simplified and straightforward. No rocket science, nothing advanced. So what we are going to do is we are going to just go with Elementor for this part of the tutorial. Let's go ahead to Theme Builder, and from here we are going to create a loop grid item. So the loop grid item is going to define how our grid should appear. So this is going to be the username, the title, and everything. Now let's go ahead. So first we are going to click on the loop item, and you can see here that we don't have any loop item at the moment. Let's click on add new. I'll close the default view of the looped item templates. There are some, but let me close those. Here I'll go ahead and gigs default grid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this loop item as a default gigs grid, because it's going to be just this sort of look. But if we do want some sort of look that is going to be specific to the account page or the seller dashboard, we are going to give it other names, but for the default one, this is how it should be. Now I'll go ahead and just let me, the first thumbnail, then the title, the username, and everything. So I'll go ahead and I'll create a first container. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the image widget, and inside the image widget I'm going to choose as a dynamic tag, what I'm going to choose is custom image. From the custom image, I'm going to choose the gig thumbnail. Now gig thumbnail will make sure that this appears. So let me click on the preview, and we want to make sure that the information appears as I did in the previous video. I'll choose a gig right here, so that specific information of the gig appears right here. I'll click on apply, and you can see here the thumbnail will appear. Now I'm going to give the thumbnail a very specific size. So the size is going to be custom, and here the width should be, let's say, 500 pixels, but the height should be 300. Let me click on apply, and we can see how's the height. I think it is giving me a very great 16:9 ratio look, so I'm gonna go with it. The next thing is going to be obviously post title, and the post title is going to be having this size. I'll go ahead further with dark gray text. I'll decrease the spacing between the rows, so I think 10 pixels is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the text size to 25 pixels and make the text even more bolder if it's possible. I think it's not possible. This font only supports 600 font weight. That's it. The next thing is going to be 4.9 star rating, so I'm gonna go with star rating widget. I'll add another container below that. Okay, this container is going to have the star rating. Yeah, and let me give it like rating scale should be like 1. Yeah, 1 is good. And I can write the text as well. I think I don't need to write the text, or let's say let me add the text as well. So I'll give it the use the heading widget instead, and here I'm gonna write 4.9. We are going to alter this later on, but this is how it should be. The next thing here is that I'm gonna put this onto P, and the text style should be condensed, dark, normal gray. Here I'm going to remove the padding, so the text is completely flat with the top title. And then the next thing is I'm going to change the direction of the elements to horizontal, so that way what happens is that it appears perfectly fine. I'll change it to the center, and you can see here that it works perfectly fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the spacing to 5 px. I think this is good. And what's the next thing? The next thing is yeah, that's it, title, this one. And starting from price, so the starting price should be, it should be actually the price, the basic tier price of any any gig. I'll add a heading. Yeah, this is good. And I'll remove the text. I'll make it span as well, but here I'm gonna choose custom field, and this should be the basic tier price, because here we do have 3 plans, so that's going to be basic, standard, premium. So the lowest price is basically going to explain people that these are the starting prices. That means that people are going to know the range, the starting range. So this is going to be I'm gonna go in the advanced mode and add some before text, and that should be starting from and then $sign. You can see here starting from $10. Now this is really good. I'll change the to 22 pixels with a dark gray. I think, yeah, starting from that. And I can do one thing more. Let me add the username as the person name as well. So that should be post info. I guess I did it in the wrong way. Yeah, post info. So the post info, I'll remove the date, time, and comments, and I'll just leave the author. Now avatar should be the author's own profile, and it should be sized as something around 15 pixel. Let me give it the some margin on the right side. On the left side it should be 10. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the text capitalize, transform capitalize, that way people can know who is the author. And there you go, that's our gig default grid view. So now the next thing is here, there's that I think there is no any sort of shadow or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give this a border color, solid 1px. Border radius should be 1510. The color should be really subtle color. Let me close this and let me add a padding of 20. Yep, I think this grid looks really good. I can further enhance it, but the design is a subjective thing. You can play with it any way you want, but this is how I think I'm gonna finalize it. Okay, we also need to do something, and that's going to be adding links. So here I've added, but like any of this element is not clickable at all. There is no any sort of link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on custom URL, and this should be post URL. Here this title should be reflecting the post URL as well. Post URL, even this one as well. So if a user clicks on anywhere here, they're going to open up that gig, and this should be post URL. I think it's all good now. I'll click on publish. We are good now. The next thing here is that I'm going to go ahead and create a page. Instead of going to the dashboard, I'll click here and add new page. The page is going to define my main gigs page. Here I'll give it the name of gigs or services. Here I'm going to click on high title, go with full width view, because that's the template I'm going to be using. The next thing is that I'm going to add a normal template, container. The padding should be 100 from top, 100 from bottom. Then I'm going to add a huge heading here, and that would be services. That's it. Here I'm gonna go with text size of, let's say, 45 pixels. Yeah, 46. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna give it a title, H1 cabin contains 46. The color should be dark gray. And here the next thing is that I'm gonna use the loop grid widget. Now the loop grid is going to make sure that we can see all of those posts in the specific grid I just created. Here I'm gonna go with that, and you can see here that it's asking me to choose a specific template. So from the template type, it should be posts. Okay, I'm gonna choose the template default. Now here in the query, what we are going to do is we are going to define which specific gigs I'm going to show. So I'll click on gigs, and it should be all, yeah. Now here we can go ahead with pagination as well if there are specific like higher number of gigs. So I'll go ahead with previous next with numbers if there is, but right now since we have only 4, that means that the pagination is not going to be enabled. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase the columns. Yeah, I think 4 columns on a specific row is good, and the gigs should be 12 gigs per page. So that means that if I have 24 gigs, the page will be divided into 2 pages and the pagination will appear. But for right now, I only have these 4 columns and these 3 gigs. That's what I wanted. I'll click on publish, and yeah, I think it's all good. Now the next thing here is that pagination. If you're clicking on multiple pages, what should do? Should the page reload? No, I don't want the page reload. I just want to have the people the best smooth experience, and that is going to be with Ajax, and Ajax is going to define how it works. Now I'll click on see. It's all good. There is also a sort of view on auto scroll, but I think Ajax pagination is good. I'll click on publish. That's done. The next thing is that I'm gonna go ahead to I'm gonna show what we did right now. Here I think the dashboard, the home page should have something as well. So right now I just created a page where we have all the gigs. So the home page should have all the gigs showing up. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead to the settings page, reading, because right now the home page is completely empty. So I'll click on static page, services, click on save changes, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to see all the gigs. Now, obviously, the Fiverr homepage is completely different, but that's a subjective, like design perspective. It's not a functionality thing. Right now, we want to see something on the homepage, and that's the gigs. If I click on any gig, I'm going to see the gig detail view. That's how it works. Here, right now, I'm going to add the related gigs as well. So I'll go ahead and edit this single gig template. And here, what we are going to do is we are going to add another container. Yeah, this container, and I'm going to give it a title of other gigs and services. So there should be a heading, other services, or we can call it related services. This way, I'm going to give it this design dark gray, and I'm going to use the same loop grid widget here. So here, if I click on this one, I'll choose the same loop grid template. The column should be 4. The only thing here different is that since it's not an archive page or it's not a main page for the gigs, so we're going to only show 4 gigs at most, and the rest can be like viewed whenever you are on that specific category. Here I'm going to choose 4 items on a page. Inside the query, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose for gigs, and here I should choose related, in fact. So when you are in related, you already see the posts or the post items which are specific to that post you have already opened. Here I can also go ahead and click on equal height, so the design is already like on the same height of all of the other columns. But I think that's what we done for today. You can see here there is no spacing, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some spacing on the bottom side. Bottom should be like 100. So here, if I scroll down, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I'll click on publish again, and let's go ahead to the home page of what we have achieved today. So today we created the gigs grid view, and inside the grid view we also added the related gigs or other services. So that's it. And I think it's a great start for keeping everything together. In the next videos, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna work on the dashboard view. So for example, if you go ahead to the pages, and inside the pages you see account page. This account page is completely messed up. I don't even like it. So what we are going to do is we are going to make sure that this specific seller dashboard is completely redesigned. It's in completely our control, and users can also see their gigs and customize it right from here and do all sort of things where a simple dashboard should do. So that's it for now. I hope this helps. I wish you have a great day ahead, and see you in next video. Bye bye.